in the Big 8 Conference, and the lights shine in Lawrence, Kansas as the Jayhawks get set to open up the Big 12 Conference. Hi, everybody. Jim Brasciano and Charlie Bowen as we kick off the 1996 season under the lights. Kansas and Ball State on a rather humid, warm evening. And Charlie, let's take a look at the offensive line first off for the Jayhawks. Very similar names. It's what you've seen in the past couple of years. And although Jim Stiebel moves over from backup center over to left guard, tough transition for him to make?
I don't think so. He's a good enough athlete where I think he'll be fine.
Take a look at the Kansas receiving corps led by Isaac Bird, and then behind him a new quarterback this year, as it's been that way for the past 5. Matt Johnner opens for the Hawks, goes right to Bird at the 26. Kansas with its first down of the year. Raphael Ball in on the coverage for the Ball State Cardinals. Ben Roots is not the starting quarterback tonight. Matt Johnner is the starter as Roots still recuperating from that knee injury. June Henley, all Big 8 caliber running back, and Eric Galbraith in at the fullback position. First pass of the season for Matt Johnner goes for a 1st and 10. It was a 12-yard pickup. Somebody jumped a little early. It looked like Henley may have had a little eager start. Could that have been his play, Charlie?
You know, he's probably anxious. I imagine all these players are a little bit anxious. I mean, they've been beating each other up in practice and everything. They're just anxious to get going against somebody else, and that might have been a result of it right there.
When do the nerves go away in this first game? You've been in this position several times.
I imagine the first couple plays, maybe the first series, they'll be a little jittery, want to get going or whatever. But I think after a couple plays, after you hit somebody, get that good hit out of the way, I think they'll be fine.
Kansas favored by 22 points in this football game. Now looking at 1st down and 15. This is Henley, and he squirts his way to the 33-yard line before he's tripped up. Henley last season, 766 yards, 8 touchdowns. Aaron Graylick and Jeff Phelps, the 2 outside linebackers, made the stops. You look at the front 4 for Ball State. Here's Graylick and Phelps in the linebacking core, headed up by Howard Sims, a 6'1 junior. Defensive backs, Grant Gray and Raphael Ball. Corey Gilliard and Keon Laws. 2nd down and 10 for Johnner. The lefty swings it out wide open, complete at the 37. Another Kansas 1st down to the 46. Eric Van out of the backfield makes the catch for the Jayhawks.
I think they're doing a smart play right now for this quarterback. You know, they're just giving him little short passes, maybe getting a little confidence going, and maybe on down and later on they'll give him a little bit more.
Here's another look. Van is in that slot, I guess you could call it, from the high school days. Swings it out. Johnner goes with the flow right out to him. Wide open. Not good coverage on that play for Ball State. Back to action. Henley, his 2nd carry of the night, gets about 5, maybe 6-yard lines into the Ball State territory. Hiram Maddox, 6'2", 230 junior. Ball State with a lot of returning players from last year's squad, which went 7-4. First injury in the football game. Damon Hummel, a right defensive tackle, number 98, a sophomore. Hummel had 46 tackles last season as a freshman. Johnner 2 for 2 early on, 25 yards, 1 to Van and the other one to Isaac Bird. Kansas moving the ball well in his first possession. 13:33 just underway here in the first. Here's Henley again, another Kansas 1st down and another 5-yard gain for June Henley.
That was some nice blocking over there on the right side of the offensive line. I think that's going to be a key.
Well, you have to expect the Hawks are going to go to Henley a lot in this football game, if not during the entire season.
Well, I think with the offensive line that the Jayhawks have and the size that I think you'll probably see that a lot tonight.
Now they'll give him 4 on the pickup, down to the 43-yard line. Henley again dances his way down to the 40. They'll give him 3 more as the clock winds down to the 13-minute mark. Henley 5'11", 215. This Kansas running back core, already pretty good size, added a lot of weight. Henley goes to 215. He put on 10 pounds in the offseason. And he didn't lose any speed either.
No.
Glenn Mason in his 25th year of coaching. 9th season here, kicking off tonight at KU. Fans still filing in, a late arriving crowd, and a flag is thrown. Play clock didn't go. Football right inside the 40. It'll back up 5 yards.
Start on the offense. Repeat second down. 5 yards.
Second penalty against the Jayhawks. It's marched them back 10 yards now in this football game. Kansas from the opening kickoff down to the 40-yard line of Ball State, now sitting at the 45. Second down and a dozen. Johnner in trouble, goes down. The first sack of the evening, in the arms of Leonard Flowers, another sophomore who came into the game for Damon Hummel, who was knocked out. It's a 7-yard sack for Leonard Flowers. Kansas last year fairly well in quarterback sacks offensively, Charlie. Just 22 on the season. Good line protection.
Yeah, I think you're going to see the same this year. You know, they might give up a couple this game or something, but they'll be all right.
From the shotgun, Johnner on third down and 19. Matt flush from the pocket and runs into his own man and goes down back at the Kansas 41-yard line.
I think you got to give credit to the Ball State secondary there. Looked like they were maybe in a little bit of zone and playing over the receivers, and there just wasn't too much to throw for.
Justin Glasgow actually took him down. Watch, he couldn't get out of the way. Glasgow's coming back over to help out. Boom. Justin's no small guy, 6'6", 300 pounds.
They were really pleased with the way he performed in the spring, in two-a-days and stuff.
Dean Royal, KU's new punter, gets it to the 25. And a gutsy return out to the 28-yard line. That was Tim Giesman on the return. So Kansas with a nice initial drive, but kicks it away after a 33-yard punt as Giesman gives it 1st and 10 for Ball State.
It seemed like what they got a little bit of momentum going, that maybe the penalties kind of set them back a little bit. Maybe they're still a little bit jittery, but
Brent Baldwin, the quarterback for Ball State. Cardinals win the I formation. Handoff, that's Michael Blair, a 6-foot senior. Blair, 819 yards last season on the ground for Ball State. Here's the offensive line. The center is Phil Henry, Tony Roush, and Mike Kerrigan, the 2 guards. The receiving core had a couple of injuries, and that changed it. Tim Giesman starting at wide receiver. Dane Wheeler in at tight end. The quarterback is Baldwin. 59% passer last season, 5 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Second down and 8 after the 2-yard pickup by Blair. Baldwin a lot of time, and now out of the pocket, dances past number 38 to the 37-yard line, close to a Ball State first down. Dewey Houston put him down there as Jason Thorne almost lost a little bit of his shoes on that first play. Good friend of yours, Charlie.
There was good coverage in the secondary.
There's Thorne, number 38, anchoring that fine linebacking core. Ronnie Ward back in that linebacking. That is a big acquisition, so to speak, from the injury he had last year. Also see Tony Blevins, a free safety back for the Jayhawks this year. Third down and 2. And that'll be a 1st and 10 Ball State. Thorne with the tackle on Leandre Moore, number 41. Moore, a sophomore running back. Jason Thorne last year, 94 tackles to lead this team.
You speak of Tony Blevins and them coming back. I know the coaches were really concerned before the season started that they could get Tony Blevins back to 100% and Ronnie Ward. I think that'd be a big key to this year.
First down for Ball State. 9:45 to play here in the first. Decent crowd on hand for the season opener and the home opener for the Jayhawks. The first and last home game in more than a month for Kansas. Ball State strung out and back to the 35-yard line. Ronnie Ward runs down Brent Baldwin.
That was a good play by the outside linebacker there. I mean, he stretched it out, and if you can see it here, I believe number 47, see how he's stretching it out right there. He's giving his other players enough time to get where they can help out and everything. That's a good play by him.
Patrick Brown, of 6'10", or 5'10" sophomore. He's 6'10", he'll be playing for Roy Williams. Baldwin with the loss on the play. This is Blair trying to power his way, and he gets out to the 40, the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 3rd and 10 for Ball State. Cardinals again 7-4 last year, 6-2 in the MAC under head coach Bill Lynch. They tied for 3rd place in that division.
We got a good surge on the defensive line there. They're really coming off the ball. It's plugging up a lot of the inside. It's hard to run the ball.
Now Tony Blevins in there to finish off that play. Passing situation for Baldwin, 119. 202 last year, threw for over 1,100 yards. Plenty of time. He lobs it up, has his man down there. It's complete inside the 40 of the Jayhawks. On the receiving end, Ed Abernathy, a 6'2 senior. Abernathy, the leading receiver, returning for Brent Baldwin. He had 31 catches last year.
That was fairly good coverage on Maurice Gaddy. He just lost him when he bumped him, and they gave him a little step on him and enough to complete it.
Baldwin had plenty of time from that shotgun as well. 23-yard pickup on the pass play. And it's the deepest penetration by either team in this football game. 8:15 to play here in the first. Ball on the 37-yard line of Kansas, and then the Hawks jump off. Brett McGraw and Kevin Kopp maybe a little too anxious on that play. Although they will say they were drawn off. They always do that, don't the defensive guys always blame it on the offense, Charlie?
Yep. It's never defensive fault. Even though they're over the ball, but it's just never our fault.
Kansas has been penalized 3 times, twice offensively. 15 yards total. First and 5 from the KU 32. Baldwin keeps it. And he maybe got 2 on the play. They might give him 3 to the KU 29-yard line. He was stuck hard at the 29 too. Ronnie Ward made the tackle. Jason Thorne also in there. Charlie, as quickly as this opened up, it closed up after he got 2 yards.
Well, he's not sitting back there. I'm kind of wondering if maybe they have a plan for him to run. Maybe drop back, let the defensive line go pass and run. They knew Kansas was probably going to be a little aggressive, so.
And they'll bring up a 2nd down and 3 now for the Cardinals. I formation. Mike Pickett, the fullback. This is Blair, and Blair maybe a yard at most. Dewey Houston, big number 83, Dewey Houston the third, 6'4", 245, in on the tackle for Kansas. No gain on the play.
That was real good penetration. I know in camp this 2 days they were emphasizing a little aggressiveness and stuff and getting off the ball.
Now Baldwin and company will go for it on 4th down and a long 2. Call it 3. Excuse me, 3rd down and 3. I don't know where we lost the down there, guys. I thought that was 4th. Baldwin, he nailed at the 31. Jason Thorne failed him.
That was a super play by Jason Thorne. He read it perfectly and came up and did his job like he was supposed to.
Well, they run the option to the near side. Baldwin, 97 carries last year, averaging 2.5 a carry, and he lost 2 on that.
And once again, Patrick Brown, number 47, he did what he was supposed to. He took the pitch man out of it, and it gave Jason Thorne enough time to come in.
Now it's 4th down, and they will not attempt a field goal. Out of the range of Brent Locklear. From the shotgun, a flag is thrown. And it may be illegal procedure against Ball State. The Cardinals boast the nation's best punter in Brad Maynard. He averaged 46.5 yards a kick last year. procedure, and now Maynard will come in. During warm-ups, Charlie, Maynard is standing at his own goal line, which is behind him now, kicking into the southeast wind of 10 miles an hour and sticking it every time on the 50-yard line. So he has a leg.
Yeah, they're really he had came in from last year and improved himself, and they're really glad to see him back this year.
Isaac Bird, 6 returns last season, averaging 10 yards a return. Stands deep for Kansas at the 10. Maynard, he gets plenty of hang time. Instead, elects to go to the sidelines with it. And this will depend on the spot. It looks to me it'll be inside the Kansas 15-yard line. They mark it at the 12. Well, not a long punt. That won't do anything for Maynard's average to start the season. But we have a timeout on the field. 5:53 left to play in the first. No score. The last time for the Hawks, gets out of bounds at the 14. Raphael Ball, who has a twin brother, Raphael Ball, plays right behind him at the cornerback position. June Henley already 5 carries tonight, Charlie. Not surprising, huh?
No, I figured that they'd come out running the ball. I mean, he's established, and he's a good back, and they got a good offensive line, and I think they'll probably run quite a bit more tonight.
Well, the penalty appears to be against Kansas.
Plus, they're still maybe giving the quarterback a little more time before they start letting him air it out. I imagine he has a few jitters himself.
Not too many southpaw quarterbacks for the Jayhawks. Not very many. I guess I'll go out on a limb and say not very many successful ones. I suppose that's okay to say because there weren't that many lefty quarterbacks. Does that change anybody? I mean, you have played on offense as well. At Kansas, you were a defensive player, but offensively, does that change the way you approach the quarterback when you go out for a reception and when you run plays?
Like they have like their rollouts and stuff like that. More likely, the quarterback's going to roll to his throwing his arm and everything. So more likely you're going to adjust your defense to play more of that side instead of playing the opposite of him. You kind of go with what he feels comfortable with, and that's going to be with throwing off with his left.
That'll actually be about a 7-yard penalty for the Jayhawks as they push him back to the Kansas 7-yard line, halfway to the goal, holding the call. Hawks have seen their share of yellow handkerchiefs. Johnner rolls out away from his throwing hand, complete to Bird, lost it out of bounds. Will they give him possession? They will wave it off. You say he bobbled the ball at the 20-yard line. Sevy, if we get a replay on this one, see if we can count the possession on it. A little foot shuffle there, Charlie.
Yeah, they're also running him to his away from his throwing. He's doing a really good job with it. He has looks like he has quite a bit of arm strength there.
He has a very strong arm, every bit as strong as Ben Rooks, who has a good arm. That one would have been a great catch by Isaac Bird. He won't drop too many of those, but he bobbled it out of bounds, so it'll be an incompletion. And now it'll be 2nd down and a long 15 for Kansas.
Isaac Bird to make up for that. He's a exciting player, and he's a great athlete. He just came off a baseball, I believe.
Good baseball season for the Jayhawks. Passed up playing professional ball to come back and play football one more time. Sideline warning was issued against Ball State. Happens to almost every team that comes into Memorial Stadium. Those players that aren't in the game really want to get down there and see if they can't do something, right, Charlie?
Yeah, they all, they just inch up and eventually get in trouble.
Never get in trouble by the coaches.
Nope.
Quick swing pass, a little too strong for Bird, perhaps, and it goes incomplete. Now 3rd and long for Johnner and company. Here it is again, and out of the reach of Isaac Bird, leaning back toward the toss. Surprising, not very much. The lights must be getting better through the years because we only have 3 banks working in the stadium. It'll be interesting once it gets dark to see how much shadows we have in Memorial Stadium. Single bank across the way. Johnner, 3rd and 15, has Bird open deep, and it's incomplete. Too strong at the 50-yard line.
He must feel comfortable rolling away from his throwing because that's all that KU seems to be doing with him. Maybe that's the way he likes throwing, and maybe he feels more comfortable doing it that way.
Well, he's set up nicely. He had good time in front of him.
Well, they're putting that blocker out in front of him and getting him a little more time.
Now, he has gone specifically to Isaac Bird. I should say he completed 1 pass to Eric Van on a little dump pattern, but Bird is the veteran of the receiving corps. And now Royal will kick for the 2nd time this season. Drops it out to the 44-yard line of KU. Fair catch made by Giesman. 38-yard punt for Dean Royal, a 6'2 junior.
And still Ball State has good field position.
Couldn't capitalize last time on it. 5:23 to play. We're here in the first period, the season opener to the Big 12 Conference. Big 12 Conference season for the Jayhawks. Starts a little bit later. So much has been made about that conference, and the coaches, pretty much all of them will say, hey, nothing wrong with the Big 8. You just made it stronger.
Yeah, it's a lot stronger.
We know how to play those type of teams.
Anytime you go into Texas and add a couple of their teams and then bring them all together, the Big 8 was already strong enough, and you add Texas and Texas A&M and stuff like that. It's by far, I believe, going to be the strongest conference this year in college football.
First of 3 consecutive night games for the Jayhawks. What does that do to you as a player?
Well, you're excited to play at night. Takes away that the sun. Just being under lights gives you a little more enthusiasm, a little fired up, and you're a little more excited than just a regular day game.
I think some people might wonder, do you sit a little bit longer in the hotel room, especially on the road? The Hawks will be at TCU and then at Utah and the next 2 night games. And
that's one of the hard parts. They probably sat around and they had probably a couple meetings a day and stuff like that. Some of them might have. I know when we were doing that, we had some tests that we had to go to, but just sitting in the hotel is pretty nerve-wracking right there.
5 1/4 left to play here in the first. No score. Ball State with the best penetration, the best starting field position for either ball club here in this first period. Baldwin loses some back to the 47-yard line. Give the sack to Chris Jones.
That sack also could go to the secondary. They had good coverage, good penetration, and the defensive line's really coming to play.
Jones last year with the sack, and he came flying through.
That was a good move by him, too, right there. Just shid that blocker and then come flying through there like that.
Went right past Tony Roush, 6'3" senior.
Shows you what kind of mobility that big persons like that have that can get out of the way like that.
10-yard loss on the play, 2nd and 20. Leandre Moore, the lone setback. 3 wide receivers out now for the Cardinals. And the option. Baldwin keeps it. Lost the football. Kansas has it at the 45. Right into the hands of Maurice Gaddy.
Well, there was the break that Jayhawks may needed to put some good field position, and now maybe they got the crowd a little bit fired up, and maybe they can go in and score now.
That's the first fumble of 96. Only 9 fumbles lost by the opponents last year through 12 ball games. Kansas starting off on the right foot in the turnover department here. Well, the Hawks with the break. 55 yards away from some scoring action. We have had none. That one knocked down. Big number 36, Aaron Graylock. 6'2", 211, and he went up to swat that one away.
He got away with one right there. There was nobody close to catching him if he would have caught that. That was a quick 3-step, and he probably just didn't even see the defender out there.
Hosea Friday checks out. The speedier Eric Van into the game now for Kansas. Good crowd, not a capacity crowd by any means. Maybe a little too balmy yet in the football season. Johnner on 2nd and 10. Good pocket set up for him. Swings it out. Henley out of the backfield. June across midfield. Looks for a first down, and he may have it.
That's the type of running you're going to see a lot from June Henley this year. He's tough to bring down. He's got good footwork, and
well, he just spins off guys. Just kind of pinballs off of him.
He is very, very, very strong. He's not going to be tackled very much by a hand tackle.
And he was not the primary receiver on that play.
Good balance.
Henley got that on his own after he slipped. After a 5-yard pickup. Barely got the first down. Jayhawks now with 4 first downs in the football game. Henley dances across the 40-yard line of Ball State. Another 5-yard gain for Mr. Henley. Howard Sims, a middle linebacker.
The offensive line really opened up a great hole here. They just crashed everybody in towards the middle, and it gave June enough room outside to pick up a couple extra more yards.
Saw Eric Galbraith leading the way for June Henley. Playing in that up back position. And he gets his first carry. Galbraith close to a first down, but he is whacked hard. Looked like Corey Gilliard may have come up from that free safety position and saved a first down momentarily for Ball State. Good hit by Corey Gilliard. Galbraith has the first down this time as he hurdles his way down to the 32.
That was a good second effort. He gained 2-3 more yards just by jumping over the.
.254 to play now here in the first. Kansas with its deepest penetration at the 32. Johnner across the middle. Carter, touchdown!
That was an excellent route by Carter. They might have been setting them, they were throwing them out passes and throwing them out passes, and it might have opened up that middle right there. That was an excellent call, excellent play.
Andre Carter, his 4th catch here at KU, and this one goes for a score.
Good protection, gave him a lot of time. He got to see the receiver, put it right on the money. Great throw.
Got behind his man, Grant Gray. He's a senior. Gray with 4 interceptions. That was a team high last year.
Anytime you give that quarterback enough time to throw, and you have a receiver one-on-one with the defensive back, enough time receiver's going to beat the defensive back. It's just hard for a defensive player to stay with him that long.
Here again, as you mentioned, Johnner had plenty of time to throw this ball.
Oh, yeah,
protection. Henley with a nice block. And then Carter just a one-on-one, and Carter is one of the fastest guys on the field, and he'll cook you.
Yeah, you can't give a receiver that much time.
Into the end zone, Leandre Moore lets it flag back, and Ball State will start on its 20-yard line. On that drive, it's a 5-play drive. 2 of those were passes, and the last one went for 32 yards and a score. The the Hawks mixing things up offensively, but it was a big play, a 32-yard pass play that made the difference in that drive.
Yeah, and they might have been setting it up from the first possession they had. We mentioned about it, they're throwing them outs and everything. It might have been setting it up.
Now Ball State, which has shown it can move the football against the KU defense. Now 2:46 to play here in the first, trailing 7-0. Hand off, a misdirection, and into the secondary on the carry, number 27, Michael Blair.
You got to give him credit on that. He made his own hole there. He saw it was crowded up inside, busted outside, and that's a good run by him.
All right, turned direction, a good block upfield for him, and he
lowered his hole.
It's another first down for Ball State. Tony Blevins, who spent last year on the injured list, back in. He made the stop, number 28. He's an athlete and a half, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good to have back. He's got a little bit of experience, and he's fast.
Here's Baldwin. He tucks it in, and Brent Baldwin gets a couple after the 32-yard line. Ronnie Ward giving chase and finally pulling him down. With Ward and Thorne, you have two linebackers who are about the same size, about the same weight, and I tell you, they're about the same quick. And it's not fast speed, it's quick speed. For a linebacker, that's something that's very important.
Well, I think the main key for them, too, is that I think they're just football players. I mean, you can have speed and everything, but if you can read it and understand what's going on, it just makes it seem like you're getting there a lot faster.
1:40 left. 2nd down and 7. They'll give him 3 on that last carry. Blair, the lone setback, that's Moore, and Moore drags a KU tackler out to the 39. He'll be a yard shy of a 1st and 10. Leandra Moore, a 5'7", 193-pound sophomore. That's a little bowling ball for you. 666 yards last year, averaging 4.5 a carry, and you can see why. Tough to bring down when they're that small.
He's strong. You can tell by the way he looks out there. He's big. He runs low to the ground, and it's going to take a pretty good hit to bring him down.
Ball State 2 for 3 converting in 3rd down situations. Just a 36% team in that category last year. They need a yard. Baldwin to throw it, swings it to his tight end, and dropped it at the 49. Good coverage by Mo Gaddy.
That was a great hit.
Dean Wheeler, a sophomore tight end. Good hands, couldn't hang on that time.
I think he couldn't hang on because he got whacked. He really took a shot right here. He looked like he might have been balling it before the hit, but still, that was a great hit by.
He was on his way down. Now, a KU player, it looks like Gaddy, who may have shaken himself up a little bit on that stop. Maurice started every game last season for the Hawks. 75 tackles for your strong safety, and he's a competitor.
That's what you want from your strong safety. You expect him to come up and make them tackles.
Injuries you always hate to see and you hate to talk about them. Kansas banged themselves up a little bit in this spring and this past summer.
They got
Mark
a few.
Sanders is out, some key players. You get to see one of the big ones, the best punter in the nation, and he uncorks one. That one goes in. Oh, it didn't go in. It stuck at the 1 and comes back out to the 4. Whoa!
That was a boomer.
56-yard punt by Brad Maynard.
That's going to boost his average back up there. That ball just hit the ground and died.
It did. It hit at the 1, and I was ready to let it go back in for a touchback. Average will go back up for Maynard now. They're getting back into the 40s easily. Here's the handoff, Henley, and he's chopped down at the 7-yard line.
It's going to be key for him to get out of the red zone right here and get a little more room, maybe give him a little passing room and stuff like that where they can feel a little more comfortable.
Galbraith with the block out in front couldn't take care of the middle linebacker Howard Sims, who rode down June Henley. Henley already 29 yards on 6 carries. The first quarter starts to wind down. Kansas gets the final playoff. Henley on the toss back. Somebody lost his shoe. Henley got back to the line of scrimmage. And when we come back, it'll bring up a 3rd down and about 7 for Kansas. 7-0 our score through 1. The Jayhawks leading here in the season opener. We'll be back. Special. Kansas with a 7-0 lead right now over Ball State, but faced with 3rd down and 8. Johnner from the gun. Carter complete. Carter out for a 1st and 10. He keeps the drive alive for the Jayhawks.
He's going to be a big receiver. They gave him a little 3-step drop right there, quick pass. You want a quick pass in your that close to your goal line. It was a smart play and executed real well. A nice run after the catch. Pick up an extra 3-4 yards.
Yeah, quarterbacks like those too, because all they have to do is pick the spot out and throw to a spot.
They know who they're going to throw to. And
Kansas from the eye, Galbraith, and he gets out near the 20-yard line. They'll chalk him up at the 19.
I think KU's doing a really good job about mixing up play selection. They're going outside, they're running up the middle, giving you a little pass out in the flat, and then they hit that 32-yard for a touchdown. I think you're seeing a lot of what KU's going to be doing this year.
Well, Glenn Mason was really high on Eric Galbraith in the drills here in the summer. With Mark Sanders out, Galbraith a chance to show himself as a fullback. And more so, Kansas doesn't have a traditional fullback system as Johnner escapes the tackler and gets out to the 21-yard line. A flag, though, is down back at the 11, and that could be a hold against the Jayhawks.
Well, KU expects all the running backs right now to carry it up. I don't recall really a real true fullback since Monty Cousins was one back in, 92. I think all their backs right now are probably all-purpose backs. They can catch the ball, run, block. You really don't see just a true fullback here.
Well, then you see Eric Van checking in the game, number 25 for Kansas. He's one of your more traditional speed backs. He's your gazelle type back. June Henley putting on the extra 10 pounds. He's not the 215. And Van, another one of those baseball players like Isaac Bird. And that's speed. He can flat cruise.
Well, Eric Van is like, he's the type of back they're going to try to bust outside, let him get out there and put on a couple moves and do his thing.
And not to upset any June Henley fans, he's one of my favorite backs too. June's flat can fly too, but Eric is more of a speed man. June has the ability to dance his way for yardage like that, and then has the power to back it up. I'm going to shut my mouth here. I'm going to make one of them mad. Hey, they're both good backs. Here again, a quick inside handoff to June, and he gets a nice little opening. Good double team block there by the Kansas offensive lineman.
Well, you just saw right there the quickness that June Henley has. He stays on his feet, keeps his feet going, and he's hard to bring down.
It looks good going backwards, too. Same formation this time. Johnner wants to throw, swings it out. Henley at the 15, can't outdance the tackler that time. On the stop was Aaron Graylack.
There's exactly what I was just mentioning about how they can use their backs to bring them out in the backfield and catch passes. And we didn't really have that kind of luxury when we played. That we had the all-purpose backs. We had runners, and then we had some that could catch the ball. But with June Henley and Van and all them, they bring a whole package.
And Coach Mason has done a fine job, and his assistant coaches as far as utilizing the players he has with the offense, putting them in the right positions. Royal under some pressure, boots a nice one. This one fair catch called for and taken at the 42-yard line of Ball State. 37-yard punt. by Royal, and Ball State will turn back to offense.
The key there was he had enough hang time on there that he let the coverage get down, and you know, a 37-yard punt, but no return, and that's the key right there.
7-0 our score. Kansas out in front on a 32-yard touchdown pass. Andre Carter on the receiving end. Matt Johnner rifled it away. We've yet to see Ben Roots, who Coach Mason, by the way, said would probably see some playing time. He's over on the sidelines on the end of the Kansas sideline. Good play action. Baldwin has a man downfield, good coverage, and he throws it away. That was a wise decision by the senior quarterback because the KU defender back there was ready to do the pick.
Yeah, that was good coverage.
Jason Harris was on the coverage.
Plus, quarterback had a little pressure on him. He had to get rid of it. Made a wise decision.
Phil Taylor was the intended receiver, if you want to call him that. If you look along the Ball State sideline. Spoke a little bit to the offensive coordinator of Ball State prior to the game. I said, what will you guys try to do on offense? And he said, our offensive line will tell us. It's what their KU's defensive line will allow our offensive line to do. And that'll dictate what we'll do offensively. Right now, the pass is what's going on.
You know, talking to some of the KU coaches before the game, they figured Ball State would come in and try to run and establish something for them where they can come back to. So, you know, I think it was probably a key for Ball State's offensive line to come out and maybe control or try to do something against Kansas defense to give them a little momentum.
Yeah, they're giving Baldwin plenty of time to throw the ball, to set up anyway. And Phil Taylor on the grab makes it a 3rd down now and 7 from just outside the 45-yard line of the Cardinals. From the shotgun, both quarterbacks working out of it. Here comes the blitz, and that one's turfed, incomplete. And shooting through was Patrick Brown. Shouldn't say it was a blitz. He came from that linebacking position, which is up on the line, that outside linebacking spot. You know, and just shot through past the tackler.
So far, I'm really impressed with Patrick Brown. He's really come to play tonight. He looks like he has all his momentum. He's a really exciting player to watch, and he's come up with some big plays so far early in this game.
Yeah, we'll get to see the punting ability once again of Brad Maynard. He nailed a 56-yarder last time. This one he goes for some hang time, and a fair catch is called for. Isaac Bird takes it at the 20-yard line.
Kansas had 2 receivers back that time. That's something you haven't seen in the past couple years. I wonder if they're going to start doing that or working on some of the options off of that.
34-yard kick that time. Clock's at 11.5 minutes. We have a break in the action. We'll take a timeout. Kansas 7, Ball State nothing. Kansas with the football. 1st down and 10 from its own 20. Henley dances again. Another quick 5-yard popper for June Henley. Henley already 43 yards rushing. Matt Johnner, the other 76 yards. That will give Galbraith 7, but 76 yards through the air for Johnner in his first start at quarterback. Johnner not seeing much action at all for the Jayhawks, although he was in on the special teams all of last year. He spots the field goal attempts and the extra point attempts. 2nd down and 4 now for Kansas. Johnner steps up, fires it. That one's complete. Carter and Andre held shy of a 1st down. Will bring up 3rd and 1.
They're still letting you throw them quick passes. Maybe not let him step back there and get nervous and make a mistake. It seems like, when you get a quarterback or something, sometimes if you just give him a quick read or something, there's less mistakes or less tragedy that could happen to you.
Well, he was sacked early on in the 1st quarter, and he came right back from that to throw the touchdown pass. It's a 7-0 ball game. 5 minutes gone here in the 2nd quarter. Johnner with the quarterback keeper has the 1st and 10. Now, you mentioned it earlier, Charlie. Kansas doing a nice job, in your opinion, of mixing up the plays, going to the inside handoffs. But we haven't seen much of an option type play by Johnny, which we've seen in the past from past quarterbacks.
You know, they may not. That may not be a strong point. Maybe they don't want to. You know, they have one Ben that's still a little banged up. Maybe they just don't want to give a chance of him getting banged up.
First down and 10 from the 31. Henley bounces off a defender and now gets whacked at the 34-yard line. A gain of 3 for June. Raphael Ball, number 25, the senior of the two Ball twins, made the stop.
That was a good defensive surge by Ball State.
They're holding their own against this Kansas offensive line. Now, you've seen this in the past as well, though, that team, if it doesn't have the depth, which Ball State does not have a lot of depth, will wear down. And especially late in the game, that's where they'll lose this football game.
It depends on, you know, how much rest they've gotten from two-a-days or how tired they really are.
Made the trip in yesterday, so they've had all day to rest up. Johnner completes. That one will go for about a 6-yard pickup. It'll bring up 3rd and short. About 2 yards to go out to the 39-yard line. Aaron Graylack put the hit on June Henley, who caught that ball.
I think you just mentioned so far, you know, the game looks like it's pretty evenly matched. You take away Ball State's turnover, and really we'd have a 0-0 football game.
.8:45 to play. 50% converting in third downs tonight are the Jayhawks. 3 of 6 on the ground. Henley, loose football and a red shirt all over it. And it'll be Ball State's ball at the 35-yard line of Kansas.
Well, just as I say, the Kansas took advantage of Ball State's turnover. Now Ball State has a chance to take advantage of Kansas. That's a real misfortune right there.
Well, somebody put a serious shot on June Henley.
He looked like he just stripped it out of there. Came around with his hand to make the tackle and hit the ball.
Hiram Maddox. 6'2", 230.
He really shot through there.
He shot through and got him. It didn't look like he would have had enough for the first down, but you would rather punt it away anyway and lose it in that type of turnover. Hey, Ball State unofficially 57 yards of total offense in the first quarter. Kansas with 87. And that one almost picked off by the Jayhawks, Tony Blevins.
And there's what Blevins brings in that we talked about, experience and everything. He has a great break on the ball. The misfortune he didn't catch it or something. But he knows he probably should have had it, and that's still a great read and great break.
Eight and a half minutes to go before intermission. And it almost feels like things are cooling off outside and warming up indoors in the press box. Timeout called by Baldwin. Reason for that one, did he not see something he liked there?
You know, second down is probably crucial that they had the right play call. He may have came up and saw there's something he didn't like where they were going. You know, they're in a good position to go in and score. You just don't want to make a mistake right here.
Timeout on the field, 8.5 minutes to play here in the first half. Kansas leads by a 7-0 score. 7-0 Kansas. Ball State after the turnover. Looking at second down and 10 to go. KU's 35-yard line. Baldwin wants to throw it now out of the pocket. Swings it. Complete. Yes, inside the 15-yard line. They'll give him the catch. Down at the 13, and the fans disagree with the call.
That was a great catch right there. Good concentration.
And this one, you just have to keep an eye on his feet along the sidelines. A beautiful pass by Baldwin. Houston in pursuit. And that one was gathered in nicely. Good catch.
Nice call.
Michael Blair out of the backfield made the reception. And you're right, good call by the officials right on top of the play. So Ball State threatening. We could have a tie game here before long. Blair, and he's met in the backfield. And it looked like number 49.
That was great defense
Kansas.
right there.
Chris Jones.
You know, that's something that I know the defensive coaches of KU strive to. Every time there's a tackle or something, they try to get all men around the ball, the whole team around the ball. Yeah, and that was just a perfect example of what they're trying to teach right there. You just don't see one player hitting him. You come in. As long as he's fighting, you just come in and keep hitting.
Back at your days at Lawrence High School, that's what you were taught, was it not? You had a good teacher in that department.
Yeah, he's pretty persistent.
Second down and 10. Baldwin in big trouble, throws it away. It was in the direction of a wide receiver.
He's a little shaky, too. He's slow getting up there.
Well, he did not want to take that sack. And that was a heads-up play by him because he had no place to go, no place to throw. Good coverage. If you can look right in his helmet in here and watch and see what was going on with him, he had no place to go out there. And then he turned around and said, I'm in trouble.
And once again, you got Patrick Brown coming in there. He seems to just be around the ball a lot.
And Patrick Brown's not somebody you want to turn around and run into. 3rd and 10 from the KU 13. From the shotgun, Baldwin flushed out of the pocket, and Baldwin dives to the 9. Ron Warner, number 99, an outside linebacker out of Independence.
Ron Warner really showed a lot of quickness right there. He came around the corner, and the quarterback was trying to get it. You can see it right here. A man that size right there chasing that quarterback is extremely impressive right there. And then dives just to get enough of him and bring him down.
Brent Locklear missed just on 5 tries last year, 11 of 16. This one a 27-yarder, and he nails it through. So Ball State's on the scoreboard with under 7 minutes to play here in the first half. 7-3 our score. Kansas out in front. A 7-3 football game here in the first half. Kansas with the lead, 6:53 to go. That last scoring drive, 5 plays, 27-yard field goal by Locklear. This kickoff goes into the end zone, and Henley's going to take it out 2 yards deep. June out to the 25-yard line, and he gets it out to the 27.
I'll tell you what, I don't know who it was, I'm not sure, but I heard a hit from clear up here. There's a big-time hitting going on right down there on that kickoff.
I'll see if you can pick it up.
I think it was in the wedge coming right up here to top of.
A lot of bodies flying there. And he gives Kansas field position at its own 27, almost 28, we'll call it 28-yard line. First down and 10. Johnner the rollout has his man. That's Eric Van out of the backfield. And Van scampers for a first down and lost the football out of bounds.
That was a superb run by him. I know the coach are probably going to tell him to hold on to the football, but a great second effort, and it's probably what caused the fumble right there. But You can see right there the strength of the Kansas running backs. By you can't just take them down by a hand tackle. See, he runs right through that, and it just shows you the strength that they have. And like you mentioned earlier, they put on a lot of sizes this year and a lot of speed and strength.
Van in at 5'9", 205. And none of that's fat. Good blocking this time for Johnner. He goes high to Bird, complete at the 41-yard line of Ball State.
That was a good catch. He went up and got it. He pretty good coverage on it. I think he had double coverage on him, and he still managed to go up and get that.
Bird goes at 6'2", and he was up there around basketball rim height to pull that one down. Went up high over Raphael Ball. Well, right now, if you take Eric Van out of this picture, we've seen a three-man KU offensive attack. Bird, Johnner, and Henley. Here's Johnner as he runs for another 2 yards. He runs into Hiram Maddox, the nose tackle, before he gathers himself to. Johnner with the 2 sacks is negative 11 yards rushing tonight. First 2. Beautiful night on the hill.
I figured there'd be a lot more people up there tonight. I mean, you have a night game like that, a lot of people, beautiful night, just come out.
It's easier to see here under the lights, isn't it? Henley on the completion, and he gathers 5 yards.
Well,
Excuse me, he'll get 3 yards out to the 35-yard line.
It was just like last night when they were putting the lights up and everything. I drove out here and looked at it, and
You got your blanket out and sat on the hill for a little bit?
I didn't go that far, but you know, it's a nice scene from on top of the hill to look down here and with the lights.
Third down, 6 now for Kansas from the shotgun, the lefty, Matt Johnner. Johnner, oh, that'll be a flag flying on that one, and Bronco riding on the play was Corey Gilliard. Eric Van, the intended receiver, and I don't know that Van had a chance to catch that anyway.
It didn't look like. Look at the replay right here. Well, I don't know, maybe with the defender hanging all over me, probably didn't have a chance, but.
Well, he was pulling that 2 off of his back on the way down. Kansas still plenty of time to put some more points up. 5 minutes and 40 seconds left. It's another KU first down. Jayhawks now with 10. Well, the scoring in the first quarter was a Matt Johnner to Andre Carter touchdown pass. It was a 32-yarder. And here's Henley bouncing to the outside. June inside the 10 to the 5.
There was an awesome block right there. It just sprang him right down the sideline. Whenever you give June the sideline and let him get going, he's really tough to catch. He's very fast, and there's a great run right there. We'll have to look.
26-yard run. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Henley with the straight arm inside and bounces out.
That was a great block. Scott Whitaker was the person I was talking to. You know, he had a good camp, and they're really pleased with him. They say he's going to do a lot of good things this year, and that was the block that just sprang him right there. Excellent job by Scott.
Henley will go to the sidelines for a little drink, and Kansas will look at 1st and goal from the 7. Galbraith stacked up at the 5. Eric getting some hard yards tonight. 4 carries, 11 yards. His longest run has been 4. Henley, that was his longest run tonight at 26 yards.
You know, I think he'd be the first to tell you that any of them yards that you run right up the middle are very hard. I mean, you know you're going to get hit. It takes a different mind frame to run up in there.
Well, Galbraith, yes, not a big difference, except when you're meeting somebody that has that much more weight, but he's 10 pounds lighter than June. Johnner swings it, intended for Moore. It was either intended for Moore or John Gordon, the freshman, number 4, but he split the 2.
Well, he got a little pressure right there and made him rush his throw, and I'm not sure he was trying to throw it to, but you see him get rushed right here. He didn't really follow through with it too well.
That's interesting. We played most of the second quarter, and that's, I think, the second time that I can recall seeing Jim Moore actually out in a pass pattern.
Yeah.
Whereas in past years, especially with Mark Williams, he was in much more often.
I think maybe they're keeping him in to get a little more protection for a.
Oh, late flag will fly out. Isaac Bird pleading his case. He may have been screened more from that football than actually bumped. Ball was on the coverage, and watch the play. I don't know that he actually got there. It looked like ball got burned. Bird may have stopped short.
Yeah, it looked like
he threw his hands up like he didn't mean to get in his way, and then Isaac Bird saying, yeah, you better throw a flag.
I think what they called is he didn't give the chance for the receiver to come back and catch it with the defender diving in like that.
He screened him off from the ball, so it'll be 1st and goal from the 2. Kansas. And the handoff goes to Galbraith, the first man through. June Henley trailing Tony Sands in the all-time touchdown list, career touchdown list. He has 26, Sands with 20. Actually, he has 24, Sands with 28, or thereabouts, folks. I'll get it right. I think it's 25 now because he has one receiving. Tony Sands with 28. (7-3) Kansas. Under 4 minutes to play. Galbraith scampers to the left. He'll block for Henley. Dives. Touchdown, Jayhawks.
That was a great run right there. He scored that touchdown on a second effort right there.
Well, right now he's 2 behind Tony Sands with his 26th career touchdown. June Henley, his first for the 1996 season in the Big 12.
I think it'd be safe to say that he probably break that record this year.
He stays healthy, he'll get it. Has one here tonight. And he also has 70 yards rushing here in the first half.
We still have a lot of football game. That might be broke tonight.
Jeff McCord makes it 14-3, and here's June Henley again. Good block by Galbraith to scamper out in front of him.
Yeah, that was an excellent block. That block right there just allowed June to take it in.
Kansas by 11. We'll be back. .347 left to play. Jim Brasciano and Charlie Bowen. Kansas with a big lead and a booming kickoff by Jeff McCord. KU scoring drive, 10 plays, 72 yards as June Henley carried it in with the 3-yard run. And he actually set it up by himself with that 26-yard run along the sidelines. And of course the pass interference penalty helped.
I think that was a type of drive that the coaches wanted to see. I think they probably wanted to see it a little earlier in the game, but like we talked about, maybe a few jitters of maybe wearing off a little bit of the rust.
They didn't need much time to do that either. About 2 minutes. Inside handoff, Mike Pickett, the fullback. Pickett's first carry, and he gets out near the 22-yard line.
He got swarmed over, too.
Adrian Green made the stop for Kansas. Adrian, a sophomore, had 9 tackles last season. Ronnie Ward also in there.
Kansas defense is really hustling. I mean, you see people diving in, and they're going till the whistle.
Clock winding down at 3:10. First receiver we've seen in motion, really, for either ball club. Baldwin fires it complete. It's out at the 24-yard line. That's Brent Campbell. Campbell's first catch of the night. Now, is that a pro set offense or what, Charlie?
I'm not really too sure.
Well, Ball State will stop the clock.
Really didn't get a chance to look at it.
And the official calling over the sidelines. Reminder, next Friday night, Lawrence High, the defending 6A state champs, will take to the field, and they'll be in Haskell Stadium in one of the all-time great battles, Olathe North.
I've heard some talk this summer
heard some
between
grumbling already
Olathe North and Lawrence High.
The Snow Bowl from last year, huh?
I think that's going to be a great opener for Lawrence High and for high school football.
Yeah, the tradition continues. We'll have it for you here on Channel 6 next Friday night at 10:30, then again on Saturday morning. It's almost a shame. It's great to begin the seasons with battles like that because you know you're going to end somebody's season like that, but you like to see the one at the end of the year because you know that's the best they can be.
Yeah, it's but then again, it could also help you towards the end of the year too.
One of the teams will be mad next Friday night because they'll already have that league loss. Ball State after the timeout facing 3rd down and 6. Baldwin escapes a sack, and Baldwin heads to the Ball State sidelines and dances out at the 37. 2 KU players collide. Looks like Tony Blevins got the worst of that collision right in front of the Ball State bench.
That was good coverage in the secondary, and it forced him out of the pocket.
Watch the collision here at the end. Blevins will run right into Ron Warner. Ooh. Warner, who goes at 220 in pursuit.
You know, he's probably saying, you know, didn't you hit me enough in 2 a days? You know,
that was a train hitting the semi truck. The semi's going to lose. Kansas leads by 11 here. 1st down and 10 for Ball State. The first one for the Cardinals in quite some time. As Baldwin now choosing to roll to the right. Strong arms it incomplete at midfield. Well shy of the intended receiver, Brent Campbell.
He took a good shot right after he released that ball by Chris Jones. Whenever you put that kind of pressure on a quarterback, he'll remember, and you know, you get him to rush a few things. Helps the secondary a lot too.
Well, Baldwin has hit 1 of his last 3 attempts, and he's hit just 2 in his last 6. And for the night so far, 4 of 10, 48 yards. Conversely, it's been a good night so far for KU quarterback Mac Johnner. Johnner 9 of 15, 107 yards, and of course the touchdown. Inside handoff. Blair didn't fool.
That was a great play.
I tell you, on the tackle that time was Ron Warner.
I don't even think he got touched. I think he just had a clear shot.
Warner, a 6'3" junior, just bolts through, and you're right. He read that play. That was a hit or miss play, I think, for Warner.
He was almost back there to get the handoff.
Clock at the 2-minute mark. Third down, 8 to go. The play so far in the first half for Ball State. And that one's knocked away by Chris Jones. He knocked one down last year and has his first of this season.
Well, Ball State would look like they were trying to set up a screen. We'll be able to tell more, see how the linemen are starting to release to the right there.
One-handed it. That's like blocking a shot attempt on the basketball court. Now Kansas with 3 deep backs receive this punt. Michael Chandler is back there along with Isaac Bird and John Gordon. And Kansas trying to get a return on. Clock at 1:51. Maynard hits a dandy. Drives Bird all the way back to the Kansas 6. Isaac heads to the sidelines and falls ahead of the 21. 56-yard punt, a 15-yard return for Isaac Bird. So Kansas now with 1:39 left has a long way to go. 89 yards for another score.
I think right there, Kansas just showed you how impressed they are with Ball State's punter. I mean, you put 3 people back, they know he can boom it. I guess they're figuring that he's going to try to kick away or something.
Actually said 89 yards there, Charlie. You didn't catch me on 79. Still a long way. 1st and 10. Johnner going all the way here in the first half, and Matt tucks it in and heads for the sidelines, dives out at the 23. It'll go down as a 2-yard gain. Aaron Graylack chased him out.
I think the coach is going to be pleased with the way he's played and the way he's performed. You know, you asked for a lot for him to come in and start his first game, and then a night game as it is. I think he's handled the pressure and stayed pretty calm.
You can see Graylack went right through those knees, and of course Matt with the knee surgery, he has his right knee playing with a little brace. That pass skips out of bounds, incomplete.
Kind of looked like there was a little confusion there. It looked like Isaac Bird. I don't know. We have to take a look at it. Isaac Bird kept running.
Yeah, Bird was breaking up.
I think maybe either the quarterback thought he was going to do an out or.
A little dark on the shadows there at that end of the field. But again, the lights pretty much very nice. The last time we had lights in, there were 2 big banks on each side across the way, and this is now just one bank. I tell you that technically they're getting better. Henley spins his way out to the 30, close to a Kansas first down. June Henley up near 80 yards already on the night.
He you know, he impresses you every time you watch him carry the ball. I think he does more running backwards than he does forwards.
He does. He looks to be 110%. Last year he was slowed by some injuries. Just that little inside handoff. And you're right, he runs just as quickly sideways and backwards. Great leg drive backwards. And just that shy of a first down, about the length of a football, so it'll go down as a 9-yard pickup. Excuse me, a 7-yard pickup. Bugs starting to fly right now in Memorial Stadium. The pest kind. As Kansas has 4th down and less than a yard to go.
Be interesting.
Matt Johnner, I'm not sure if he's going to call a timeout or what. Goes over to talk to the official. Hawks have an 11-point lead. You don't want to mess up here and give an easy 6 to Ball State.
But it looks like they might be going for it.
Or could this be a situation where you just run that play clock down, take an extra 25 seconds off the game clock before you punt it away?
And then try maybe. I don't even know if I think you're right. I don't even know if they're going to come to the line of scrimmage.
Because with what Johnner did, says I'm going to call a timeout when that play clock gets down to 1, and we don't want a penalty, but let's stop the clock. So the punting unit most likely will come on, and yes, it does for the Jayhawks. That's coaching strategy, and that's why we're up here and we're not down there, because we don't think about stuff like that in advance. Now, whose job is that? Is that one of the guys up here in the booth? All his job is to do is to watch the clock and think of those things. You were out there, Charlie. Who made that call?
I don't. I've never gotten that situation where I had to make that call. I don't. I think they all come together and make that decision. I don't know. I don't want to put no burden on anybody.
Well, the clock winds down to 54 seconds for Dean Royal. Here's Glenn Mason. He'll take credit for that. What a year last year for him. Both on and off the field. He had a great season, 10-2. Then he had the situation where he took the job in Georgia, and then the Christmas Day and Christmas present for his players, turned that down. And he got himself remarried over the summer, too. Beautiful wife named Kate. And now we're up to date. Glenn Mason's life.
I noticed that picture in the book where there's a couple more kids, and I think they even added a cat now, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Nice kick by Royal, and it's fielded at the 33-yard line. So Ball State will have 47 seconds to work with. 36-yard kick for Dean.
Be interesting what Ball State tries to do here.
Well, a lot of people would think just crank it up, but you can also get yourself in trouble. That's 47 seconds. Doesn't seem like a lot of time, but it's an eternity if you're watching a team push the ball down the field. And Kansas has done that the last couple of possessions, with the exception of the latest. Now keep it on the ground, and that's Michael Blair. And Blair is taken to the turf at the 35-yard line. Kansas with 1 timeout left. Ball State has 2 remaining. The clock continues to go at 32 seconds.
I think they're just, well, now they're lining up to the ball.
Maybe the final play of the half. Baldwin swings it out, has his man complete at the 44-yard line, up to midfield, and boy, is he hammered at the 49-yard line. That's Phil Taylor, the freshman.
He came up and really whacked him.
Watch the pop at the end of watch his head at the end of this play. Well, watch his helmet.
Oh boy, that's a
Mo Gaddy came in. He was already shaken up on 1 tackle. Maurice Gaddy he hits probably for a safety man, comes up and hits as hard as he possibly can, and you used to play that position, and you had your bell rung a couple of times there too. And it's got to be tough.
Sometimes you can hit somebody hard enough where I think you feel it more, maybe they feel it. Maurice Gaddy definitely comes up with all he has, and he reminds me of a player that used to play here by the name of Doug Terry.
Used to play over in Kansas City too. Doug got hurt though. I think that's what happened to him the last couple of years. Injuries.
Well, he came up like Maurice and gave it all he has, and sometimes you just don't last long when you come up and beat up your own body as well as beating up theirs.
I tell you something else about Doug Terry. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Nice guy. Well, it's a first down, and the football rests at the 49-yard line. We're trying to click off the final 16 seconds here in the first half. A lot of fans have been quiet for most of the second quarter, with the exception of the touchdown. June Henley gave him a couple of plays to cheer about. Some people may be thinking about work tomorrow morning. Brent Baldwin, play action, and he whips it incomplete, intended for the freshman again, Taylor. Clock stops at 10, and that'll bring up second down.
Second down at the Kansas 49.
Kansas secondary was playing off right there. They, I'm sure they were told to keep everything in front of them, don't let anything get behind them.
I would imagine you'll see him play way back on this one. Mitch Bowles, one of the secondary men, and Baldwin swings it out. That pass complete, out of bounds at the 41. 5 seconds off the clock. Locklear last year only kicked a 42-yarder. That's as long as he could go. So he doesn't appear to have a strong leg.
I think what you have to do here is just maybe throw it towards the end zone. Hopefully you get a tip or a bat or something, or come down with it.
That was a 6-yard pickup on the play. And now Baldwin. He's got to chunk it up into the end zone now. Time has run out, and he's pointing receivers downfield over the line of scrimmage. That'll go, flag will be thrown, and that will be turned down by Kansas. So it'll be an incomplete pass for Baldwin. That's my call on it, folks, because I watched him throw that ball from the 39, maybe 40-yard line. He was almost had enough to run for the first down, but time had expired.
Yeah, he was definitely over by the way it looked up here.
Well, both teams heading to the locker room knowing that Kansas will decline it. Well, I'll tell you the truth, that was an ineligible receiver downfield. But he was also a quarterback well over the line of scrimmage when he chucked it. 14-3. I'm taking that one. 14-3 Kansas here at halftime. Stay with us, folks. We'll have much more KU football for you in their season opener in the Big 12 Conference. Stay with us here on Channel 6. Back at halftime where Kansas leads Ball State 14-3. Jim Brasciano and Charlie Ball. Let's take a look at the Kansas scoring for you. Came in the first quarter. The first one did. Kansas with a nice drive. And here's Matt Johnner who will connect on a 32-yard touchdown pass to Andre Carter. You like this play because of the slant pattern that was run by Carter.
Yeah, it was the first one that they started at the game. And, you know, they were throwing outs, and that was the first one they did.
Carter with his first touchdown for Kansas, a 32-yarder. Johnner, by the way, 11 of 16, 120 yards. Here's the touchdown run by June Henley. This is from 2 yards out, and out in front of him, Eric Galbraith, who started tonight at fullback or the other running back, and that's just great second effort by Henley, and he's done that all night long. This was set up by a 26-yard run from June, and on the night, 7 carries for 77 yards and the touchdown. And Kansas with a 14-3 lead. The field goal for Ball State came from 27 yards out. Locklear nailed it.
And you know the thing about June is he's picked up a lot of them yards on second effort. And that's just good running and sign of a good athlete and stuff.
Kansas kicks off to start the second half, taking it to the 3-yard line. On the return, Leandre Moore. And Moore gets out across the 20 to the 21. Ball State needs to get something going on offense. Kansas with 13 first downs through the first half. Ball State 6. And in total yardage, Kansas has amassed 200 to 127 for the Cardinals. And the Jayhawks having the football 2 full minutes more in the first half than Ball State. All the way at quarterback, Brent Baldwin. And he'll run the option and eludes a tackler, and Baldwin gets ahead for a couple. Ronnie Ward, who has himself had a handful of tackles in the first half, picks up another one here. We talked about this a lot, Charlie, in the first half. The pursuit by the Kansas defense, especially that line. They just slide down and slow up the runner, be it the Baldwin himself or one of the 2 running backs.
Yeah, you know, at the end of each play, you can always see that, you know, there's 6, 7 blue jerseys around the pile. It's going to pay off when you fumble comes out or something like that.
Just underway here in the second half. Little crossing handoff, one of the biggest runs of the evening for Leandre Moore. And that one goes for about 6 yards. It'll be a first down and 10 for Ball State. Maurice Gaddy in on the stop for Kansas.
That's a nice little run. He timed the hole and hit it just right. And probably the nicest run that Ball State's had this evening.
Blair had one for 10 yards. Baldwin goes for 13. But Moore just picked up 7 on that, so it's the 3rd longest run for Ball State. Again, not a lot of offense allowed by the Kansas defense. Here's a little delay, and ahead for a couple goes Michael Blair. Much the same way this football game started out for Ball State. Little hitters like that, 2-3 yards, they marched the football downfield, could not capitalize on that.
Well, you know, Ball State probably went in. They know that they're not out of the game. It's only a 14-3 game right now. Maybe they feel like they don't have to get out of their game plan, so they decided to come out and do what they prepared to come do and see what happens. Maybe they can get right back in it real quick.
You're right, only 2 scores down from taking the lead in this one. 13 minutes, 11 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. Not many people left here at halftime. Another nice run, and that's some power running by Leandre Moore.
I don't know what Ball State's head coach said to them at halftime, but their offensive line's definitely come out and shotting off the ball, and it seems like they're getting a little more running room. I don't know if they saw something that first half and made a couple adjustments, but so far they're moving the ball pretty well right now.
Brett McGraw was almost, you call that a wrestling move, a takedown there by Tony Roush in front of him. I believe that was Roush. He or Kerrigan got to it. 3rd down and 2 now for the Cards. Again, the tailback, and he'll be shy of a first down. Michael Blair unable to get loose.
He'll be short about a yard, I think.
It appears they're spotting it at the 40, and now the nation's leading punter will come on. Brad Maynard. Maynard had 2 kicks in the first half for 56 yards.
Jason Thorne really came up and filled the hole right there and prevented giving him the first down right there.
Maynard hits a boomer. 3 men back again for the Jayhawks. Bird is nailed at the 16-yard line, and the flag is thrown. Now the question here, I believe, Charlie, is did he get enough room? Did Raphael Ball give Isaac Bird enough room to make that catch? Did he crowd him too much?
Well, you know, I think you're supposed to give him, what, 2 yards? It's called a catching, where you give the receiver 2 yards to catch the ball. And right there, it's pretty questionable right there.
See the ball on the top of your screen, right on that hash mark.
So he definitely didn't give him the 2 yards to catch it.
We're getting an explanation by the official. I don't know if you caught all that, but he did not give him enough room. They call it interference. Not enough room to make that catch, even though Isaac Bird, with great hands, spent the summer playing baseball, professional baseball, in the St. Louis Cardinals organization.
You gotta give him credit, holding on that ball right there.
Absolutely. Jayhawks with 4 receivers in patterns. And Johnner fires it out, incomplete. Intended for Bird, overthrown and into the Ball State sideline.
That would have had to be a perfect pass to get in right there. He had a defender underneath and one over the top.
Johnner with 120 yards through the air in the first half. Here again is what set up the field position for Kansas. As you see, Ball there on the coverage did not give him. He's about a yard, maybe a little over a yard there, and then bang, as soon as the ball got there, Isaac got it, and he also bought some helmet in the face mask.
That's a dangerous position back there, receiving that, especially when you know they're coming down to hit, and you know you give him credit to catch the ball because you can hear them, but you know you don't always see them because you're always looking at that ball, and it's an eerie feeling back there.
Damon Hummel, the second time he's been out of the ball game with an injury tonight. Kansas at its own 33-yard line, 11 minutes, 42 seconds to play here in the third quarter. The Hawks lead it by 11. Johnner from the shotgun. And now Matt rolls out, swings it out. That pass complete near the 42-yard line. Andre Carter on the receiving end. That's the 4th catch for Andre.
You know, like we were talking about earlier, where he was rolling out to his right there. He's rolling out to his left. You can see he threw it on his run. Where when earlier we saw he was rolling out, he had to stop and set up.
Well, he's shown he can go both sides of the field on the roll, which is very versatile, the quarterback. Hawks now looking at 3rd down and 2. Football just across their own 40. Play action. Johnner swings it out, complete to Galbraith, and he has the first down. 4-yard gain on the play, but a 1st and 10 for Kansas. Johnner now has gone to 6 different receivers in this football game.
Mixing it up. They're still giving him the quick patterns, the quick passes, though. I think that suits him best, though.
Bird has man-to-man coverage to the near side. They'll go on the ground to Henley, and June picks up another 10 yards, and he'll go out of bounds after a 12-yard pickup. Corey Gilliard brings him down, but June Henley, as the fans pick up the June chant.
Well, he just squirted right through there.
Watch how fast his feet is. They're quick feet. He'll short step.
Well, look at him just squeeze right through there. And go on and pick up 6-7 more yards.
And again, June putting on 10 extra pounds this year. And he is very stout. Solid muscle. And it's great when you can do that and not lose the speed, huh, Charlie? Henley again dances back to the line of scrimmage.
Something very hard to do. A lot of people you see put on weight, put on a lot of muscle, and it affects their speed. But you know, in today's weight training and stuff like that, they have a lot of things that you can do to build up your speed while you're putting on the muscle and the weight. And you're seeing a lot more athletes doing it.
Henley there with a nice little hop dance skip.
And plus these athletes from KU, they work hard over the summer too.
Johnner on 2nd and 10. Fires it. Has Bird, and did he get his foot down?
Yep, he did.
And they'll give him the completion at the 28-yard line of Ball State. What a grab by Isaac Bird.
That was a great reception. He reached out and pulled it in and did an excellent job putting his foot down.
He got it in there. Great coverage, too, by Raphael Ball. Go back to the I formation. Here's Henley on the pitch. June has an opening, and Henley inside the 20. And June Henley out of bounds, deep inside Ball State territory. And another Cardinal player has been shaken up.
You know, I know you mentioned it earlier, Jim, but you know, you said about earlier that maybe the offensive line of Kansas will start wearing the defensive line of Ball State out. I don't know so much that they're wearing them out right now, but you can definitely tell that the offensive line is just a little bit stronger.
Keon Laws was in on the stop that time for the Cardinals, but injured on the play was Aaron Graylack. Graylack, the senior of the trio of linebackers that the Cardinals have, and he's shaken up. 10:06 to play here in the third quarter while they tend to Mr. Graylack will take a timeout. 14-3 the score, Kansas with the lead. Shot on our opening night of coverage for the Kansas Jayhawks. 14-3. Hint of that moon tonight.
Can't ask for a better night to play football. We
You're down there on the field.
If we could just get rid of these bugs, we'd have a great time.
Yeah, they're all over. You'll see them flash in front of you every now and then. Here's Galbraith slipping a tackler down to the 7. A 9-yard pickup for Eric Galbraith.
You know, they used him in a lot of different situations tonight out of the backfield.
Second down and 2 now for Kansas. Galbraith whistles will halt the play at 9.5 minutes left. A couple of Kansas players mixing it up a little bit with the white jerseys. It'll be against the Jayhawks. 5-yard penalty. And it's the 6th penalty for Kansas so far in this football game. 9 plays so far on this drive for the Jayhawks.
And it's been mostly on the ground. A couple of short passes out in the flat, but mainly June Henley just drop back, hand him the ball, and let him go.
Yeah, it won't be too much longer. Maybe by the time we get back with you when the Kansas Jayhawks come back home. And that won't happen. To check the schedule, 43 days I'm told, but October 12th against Texas Tech, Hawks will be here. May not see those shorts and short skirts on those yell leaders down there. That time rolls around. That's how long it is. Here's Henley on the pitch, follows Galbraith, and mows over a Ball State player to the 3.
That's just showing you the strength of him right there.
Corey Gilliard gets credit for the tackle, or actually getting in the way.
I think he just got a free. I think he got a free ride. I don't.
Puts it down low. You go away from you. And you see, he just takes Gilliard right down with him. June Henley already over the century mark in this game. 112 yards unofficially. That one good for 9. Kansas just grinding out this drive. 10 plays so far. And Jose Friday goes in motion. Here's Henley again on the pitch. Touchdown, June!
Like I said earlier, he might go for that touchdown record here. Had a lot of game left.
He needs one more to tie Tony Sands for the all-time lead in career touchdowns.
June really ran impressively on this whole drive. He gave a lot of second effort, and that's just determination right there to get it in.
Well, it looks to me like he could have coasted in, and then at the same time, I was going to say he went in. Number 4 came back for another ride down, Corey Gilliard. He took another helmet in the chest.
He didn't get a good enough ride that first time.
No, he didn't. 21-3 Kansas. On that drive, June Henley with 38 yards and 5 carries. And this one from 3 yards out gives Kansas a nice lead. 21-3 our score. June Henley's second touchdown run of the night gives Kansas a 21-3 advantage over Ball State. Jeff McCord, not a deep kick, taken at the 16-yard line and wrestled out of bounds at the 25. Jason Arnold. That man right there in the red cap is the offensive coordinator for Ball State, Keith Otterbein. Fine gentleman. Has done a nice job with this offensive unit, too. One of the top ones in the MAC last year.
I think it's key for Ball State to get something going right here.
8:38, plenty of time remaining, but offensively not able to do much tonight, and now not sure who jumped first. Their tight end, Brian Vandelli.
Kansas players are clapping down there, so.
That'll back up the Cards 5 yards. Well, Ball State over the past 8 years has been the second winningest 1A school in Indiana. Second to who there, Charlie?
I'd have to say Notre Dame.
There you go. You got the answer.
And Purdue's probably behind them, and who else is?
People forget that Notre Dame's in that state. So look, this is a nice pass play. Good play action fake, and Baldwin steps up, nails the man sliding across. That's Giesman. That's his second reception tonight.
I think a lot of people would be second behind Notre Dame, though.
They've been there for a few years. Interesting note about Baldwin, the quarterback. You see him there, number 11. Last year in the season opener against Miami of Ohio, suffered a broken jaw. He stayed in that game, came back, and played the next 6 games with his jaw wired. And they say that gave that team so much inspiration through those 6 ball games.
I don't know if it gave me inspiration, but it showed me he's pretty tough.
Very confident young man as well.
I think it's a good sign of a good leader for a football team.
And that's why he's back here. A good backup, too. A senior, another senior, Matt Nicely. 75% passer last season. Right now, Baldwin needs to start clicking with his receivers. 7 of 15, 82 yards. But give credit to the Kansas secondary being all over his primary receivers. This one salvaged on the carry. Maybe a first down for Michael Blair. It was almost a 3-yard loss.
Well, that time the Jayhawks, I think, just over pursued. They looked like a couple of the Hawks just ran right by him. And
missed tackle on the play that time for Kansas. Jerry Hannock. Hannock, a redshirt freshman, 6'6", 245. And we'll go down as a 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Clock at 8 minutes. Bugs continue to fill up the stadium. Some fans starting to check out for the night. Handoff goes to Moore. Moore picks up almost 5 yards. They'll give him 4 out to the 39-yard line.
Ball State still seems to be persistent with running right now. There's still a lot of time in the game. They may not feel any pressure right now to really get out of their game plan yet, but they seem to be working on it and pretty steadily.
As far as the series goes, these two teams met just once. It was back in '92, and Kansas won that one, 62-10. Ball State needs at least a touchdown to have a chance at accomplishing as many points against Kansas. And a nice stop defensively. I think that was Hannock again. Jeremy, number 95, against 6'6".
That's just what you call coming up and meeting somebody head on and winning the battle.
There too. Kevin Kopp took him down low, and Hannock nailed him high, so it'll be no gain on the play. Ball State just 2 of 8 converting in 3rd down situations tonight. And the Cardinals need 6 for a first. Baldwin fires it. That one too high and incomplete. On the coverage was Blevins, as Dane Wheeler, the tight end, went up for it. Had no chance of getting it.
I believe he threw it a little high, I believe. I don't think he really gave him much of a chance to catch it.
And the fans now salute the defensive unit as it heads to the sideline. See if Maynard can uncork another one for Ball State. Kansas with a good rush on.
Like they were coming after it.
Bird the only one back, and fair catch taken at the 15-yard line. So Kansas back on offense with 6:13 left to play here in the 3rd quarter. Again, a reminder that next Friday night will be at Haskell Stadium for the season opener for the Lawrence High Lions, the defending 6A state champs. Their final year as a lone high school in the city of Lawrence. That'll be different, won't it, Charlie? Many years as you were there, the state championships that you and your brother Clint have been involved in?
I don't know if I've accepted it yet.
There's no choice in the matter.
Yeah, but it just goes back to you've always had one, but I guess the way you can look at it is maybe the 2 Lawrence High teams that play each other now.
That'd be interesting. Get a chance to meet up for a trip to state. Ben Roots now in the game for the Jayhawks. Roots, the heir apparent at quarterback after Mark Williams graduated.
I talked to Coach Warner before the game, and he said that Ben would probably see a little action.
Matt Johnner did a fine job in his stint at directing the team tonight. He was 14 for 20, 146 yards in the touchdown pass. Good look at Ben. 6 foot 190, a senior. Again, a reconstructive knee surgery in the offseason. And didn't quite get it back. Oh, Henley. And this time, number 4, Corey Gilliard will get behind him and run him out of bounds. Henley almost snapped that one off.
think the defender just had the angle on him, or he might have went all the way.
A football is marked at the 43-yard line of Ball State. 30-yard pickup for June.
There's some good blocking out there on Scott Whitaker to set him free. And once you get June out in the open like that, he's one of the toughest football players to bring down.
Henley now 156 yards. He goes to the sidelines. Eric Van checks into the backfield. Kansas first and 10. 21-3 the score, under 6 minutes. Van bumped ahead, and Eric still keeps the leg turned down to the 32-yard line. Should be enough for another Kansas first down.
You know, Jim, it's got to be frustrating for a defensive squad to go against somebody like June Henley, and then he goes to the sideline, and you bring in somebody like Eric Van, and he's just a tough runner. As you can see, he just keeps going, and if you're a defensive player, it's just got to be nightmares for you.
It's got to be a nightmare for Corey Gilliard. Every time a running back gets the ball, he has to come up and make the stop. Playing out of that free safety position. He led this Ball State team in tackles last year with 100. So he does get after the football, but he's paid for him tonight. Henley has mowed him over twice. It was the first carry of the night for Eric Van. He has a couple of catches, and now this will be his second rush. And Van pulled out of bounds after an 8-yard pickup. Raphael Ball made the stop. Here again is Van just bouncing to the outside. Good containment by the
good little move right there.
The tackle, Scott Whitaker over there.
The offensive line's really blocked well tonight. I know they're really looking at them guys as to do well this year. They got a lot of talent there and
a lot of experience too. You look at those names; those guys played a lot of time last year. And this is Galbraith, and Galbraith has the first down. He's down to the 19-yard line.
You know, you
missed opportunities by Ball State in that second quarter really has taken them out of this game. I guess mentally is what you could say. The defense has been out there forever here in the third quarter.
It just it'd take a toll on the defense, and you know the fumble that Ball State got early in the second quarter, and then they went in and only got 3 points out of it. That's kind of a motivation win for the Kansas defense, you know.
And we can't, after this play, we get a shot along that bench, the Ball State bench. The entire offensive unit sitting as Gordon can't pull down the high pass from Roots.
He took a pretty
good shot. Sitting along that bench, I tell you, Charlie, the whole offensive line back behind the guys standing are parked on the bench. And no one's really over there talking to them.
Well, it just might be the size and you know, the depth that Kansas has. I mean, their defensive front's bringing a lot of different people. You know, you got your linebackers and stuff like that. It'd take a toll.
Good coverage on that last pass play by the Cardinals. Hand off. Here's Henley, slipped and goes down at the 13. Either that or he was tripped up. But Henley had a heck of a hole and pay dirt ahead of him. He may have stepped on somebody's foot.
You see the offensive line just opening them holes now. It's a lot more evident now, and you're kind of starting to feel like maybe they're taking control of it right now. But like you said, Ball State's defense has been on the field a long time. And
Kansas now with 4:25 left here in the third. Handoff goes to Henley. He'll be way shy of a first down. A rare loss for him tonight. He'll drop 2 on the carry. Tough blow for Ball State. Jason Kent's a junior fullback. He missed the final 5 games of the '95 season with a broken ankle. They expected a lot of good things out of him this year, and he broke his ankle in the fall camp and is out indefinitely right now. So you lose one of your top running backs, especially in the fullback position, and it'll change you all around. McCord, and he missed it. Jeff McCord, who missed 3 attempts last year, misses this one from 32 yards out, and Ball State will get the football back with 3:47 left to play here in the third. Kansas up 21-3. KU. Ball State has it. First down and 10 from its own 20-yard line. Play action pass. Baldwin and in and out of the hands of the tight end, Vandelli. Vandelli with 5 catches last year. Couldn't hang on to that one. Kansas, meanwhile, showed that it can eat some more time off the clock. It took 2.5 minutes and an 8-play drive, although the field goal attempt was missed. Hawks showed ball control in that last drive. And those bigger ones that you see, those are bugs, and that's like a third of what's up here, folks. Because those are katydids, and you know how big those things are, the big green monster grasshoppers. And among those are a bunch of tiny ones that are all over everybody up here. So you have a good seat at home tonight. Nice run by Mike Pickett. Sure if he shedded the tackle of Jason Thorne before Tony Blevins took him down.
He just lowered his head and was going to run over somebody.
At the 24-yard line. First down and 6.
I tell you guys, you talk about these bugs, they're much better than snowflakes. And those we've been lucky, fortunate we haven't seen those in raindrops in the last few years. Kansas leading it by 18, 21-3. The spread on this game, by the way, was 22, and Baldwin somehow stays on his feet back inside the 15 and will finally be tossed down by Kevin Kopp.
He turned right into that truck, I think.
Is that one of those steam sacks there, Charlie?
He didn't have anywhere to go, and watch it, he turned right into this. Ooh.
At least the 4th sack for the Kansas defensive unit. Last year recorded 23, so the Hawks off to a good start. Brad Maynard. Fair catch called for by Gordon. He gives Kansas field position at the 43. He did have some running room, but and again, interesting note, 3 returners back for Kansas. Will we see that a lot this year? You have 3 Blazers back there, but it's very uncommon in a punting situation. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Charlie.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing it, and we definitely never did it when I played here, but I don't know if it's because of their punter or if it's something that KU's trying. Maybe KU's trying to give other teams looks at something and just give another look or something, so people have to work on it.
Well, I know Maynard gets rid of it in a hurry. You figure you don't have much of a chance to block it, might as well put a return on. I don't know. Guessing. Roots on the roll to his left, underthrows Eric Van. We're getting all these things in because we'll be away from this for the next month and a week. Not till October will the Hawks be back home. Although Sunflower Cablevision will have the Jayhawks on ESPN and ESPN2, I believe. TCU game will be televised. So call your cable operator if you do not have it. Sounded pretty good, didn't it? 2:06 left here in the third. And here is June Henley adding some more to his total. An 11-yard pickup. Almost 12 out to the 46-yard line of Ball State.
These fans here really like watching him run. He's exciting. You never know. He could bust one anytime, and
it's so quick on the misdirection. How he changes his direction.
you think he has nowhere to go, and then all of a sudden he's busted out and he's running down the side or down the middle.
About 170 yards unofficially for Mr. Henley. Clock rolling at 1:40. Roots, quick drop, slant, and incomplete. Maybe had a little bit too much in front of Carter, and he saw the football and a couple of white helmets coming at him. Rafael Ball on the coverage. How difficult is this for Ben Roots? Is he in a situation where he's coming in, he's been cold for the entire first half, he has to come into this situation and start this ball game here in the third quarter? Is there a difference as far as what he's dealing with out there?
Yeah, it's hard to come off watching for a while and then come in and pick up where the last quarterback left off. Plus, he might have a couple questions in his own mind of how well is he, or how much can he do on the knee before he gets the confidence where he actually needs.
How about, too, the fact that he sat there and watched how well Matt Johnner performed and the expectations maybe he has for himself to live up to the level that Matt did.
To come in and try to pick up and prove that he's back from an injury is a lot of it that's probably going through his head. He's probably wanting to quiet down a lot of speculations, and he might be trying a little hard.
Well, Kansas with an off week next weekend, so they'll get plenty of time to look at the films and videotape and figure out what they need to improve upon before the meeting down in Texas against TCU. And that should be a good ball game. Hawks home schedule: Texas Tech, Colorado here, Kansas State, and Texas. What's left on the agenda. And it's always fun to come to a KU home football game. What a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon.
Plus, with some of the teams coming in this year, it's going to be
absolutely.
There's some great football teams coming in here to play them this year, and it's going to be an exciting year.
Second down and 10. Roots called the timeout. The play clock was winding down. It was at 4 when he got to the line of scrimmage. Long count. And another whistle, and friendly exchange along the offensive line. Derek Chandler, number 71, in the game now for Kansas. He's no small guy, 6'7", 310. Chandler in at that right tackle position.
You know, this camp and everything, they were really impressed with Derek Chandler, and they want him to maybe be a little more aggressive, start using his size a little more, and he's starting to come around, and I think someone that big, if you're just a little bit aggressive, I think it's pretty going to be good enough.
310. All he has to do is look my direction. That's aggressive enough. Roots strong arms it, completes it down at the 36-yard line. Andre Carter on the catch, and Roots really rifled that one in.
Well, that was a rocket right there. That was a good example of how strong Ben Roots' arm is.
He rolls to his left and then sets up and smokes it. Carter goes up to corral it in, and a nice tackle by Grant Gray.
The way that ball went there, it might have just stuck to him.
Another Ball State player down out of your picture. And it looked to me when he grabbed his leg, it was one of those cramps. In fact, the dew could be settling on the turf out there. It's kind of overcast, almost a haze inside the stadium. Brian Williams was shaken up on the play, and again, at this time of year, you do see that a lot. If you see cramps, they come this time of year because of the heat. Chris Anneking, former Lawrence High player, redshirt freshman. He's in the game. Damian Hunt, number 73. Anneking, number 68. And Brian Gray, now the KU tight end position. Hand off as Van scoots left side, and Eric gets out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
Speaking of the tight end position, we didn't really see too much from, pass-wise from Jim Moore tonight. I think they mainly use him as pass protection, maybe because of new quarterback, maybe want to give him a little more time.
And again, I only recall seeing him go out in a pattern once. And that was down by the goal line. Kansas has piled up the first downs in this football game. Through 3 quarters almost, there's 24 of them. 11 of them have come in this quarter alone. Roots, nice straight drop, good time. Gordon, touchdown, John Gordon.
That was a beautiful pass right there. And it looked like the same play that they scored on earlier.
31-yard touchdown pass.
Like I said, it looked like the same pass pattern that I believe it was Isaac Burst scored on in the first quarter, I believe it was.
And Roots just finessed that one on the money. Gordon turned his back on it, not breaking stride and taking it in. 27-3 Kansas. McCord to dot the I, and he does. So McCord perfect on extra points this season, 4 for 4.
That was that might have been a good confidence builder for Ben. You know, like we were just talking about, coming in maybe a little rusty. He didn't look rusty right here. He put it right on the money.
(28-3) Kansas leads Ball State. And the blocking is there, and scooting through Leandra Moore, and he returns it out to the 32-yard line.
I believe that was only like the second or the third return the Ball State's had, and the wedge was set up nicely and had a good return right there.
Kansas went 57 yards in 6 plays. Ended up with Ben Roots' first career touchdown pass as a Kansas Jayhawk, as he hooks it up to the freshman John Gordon, who has his first career touchdown catch as well. So now under a minute left, Kansas with a healthy lead. And I said earlier, Jayhawks trying to shut this one out. They're trying to close this one out on Ball State. Cardinals lose the football, and on top of it, Kansas at the 31.
I believe that was Ronnie Ward that recovered that, wasn't it?
It was Ronnie Ward, number 46 for the Jayhawks. Right place, right time. See who stripped it away. It could be Bowles. Baldwin with some time bounces out of the pocket. Number 95 got it, Jerry Hannock.
We've heard his name a couple of times.
Kansas with the turnover, the second of the night.
This could put a nail in the coffin if they could capitalize on this. And
still with another 15 minutes left to play. Here's the pitch back to Eric Van, and Van stays in bounds to the 25. It'll be a gain of 5. As Aaron Graylack and Corey Gilliard combined to make the tackle for the Cardinals of Ball State. Van has 29 yards all in this quarter on 4 carries. Well, the Cardinals will go another game without being shut out. It'll put them in 98 consecutive games that they have not been blanked. This defense has given up some points. You know, last season, Charlie, it ranked 5th nationally in total defense. And the Hawks now putting up the points and racking up the yards. Nice catch by Van. It'll be a first down with the forward progress down to the 19. And Kansas will change ends of the field. And a final 15 goes on the clock with Kansas leading it 28-3. We'll be back. Kansas now first down and 10 from the 19 of Ball State. Eric Van, the carrier, maybe a yard. 28-3 our score.
I think you'll probably see Eric Van for the rest of the evening.
Well, Henley had himself a good night, 170 yards. Here's Van. No place really to go. Galbraith leading the way. Good size, I tell you. You like to see guys like Scott Whitaker, 6'6", 290. Right there off to your left. Pitch back to Van. And the hole closes again, but Eric gets down near the 15-yard line, a gain of 2.
I know they speak really highly of Scott Whitaker.
Well, you have to take care of those guys out in front of you, don't you?
I would if I was running behind them.
Kansas through 3 quarters unofficially, 437 yards of total offense. 192 of that through the air, and that leaves 245 on the turf. Ball State under 160 yards, 159 total. Split up fairly evenly, 82 through the air and 77 on the ground. Handoff goes to Henley, and he'll add to his total. Another 5-yard pickup for June, and now a late flag thrown. Henley just runs right over the defender. And there's the extra landing action by a Ball State player, and it may have been a KU player that was caught. Howard Sims made the tackle that time for the Cardinals. Ooh. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Ball State, so that'll push the football down to the 6-yard line. It'll make a first down and goal for Kansas. Traffic jam starting to form outside of Memorial Stadium as people heading home early at their fill of Kansas football tonight. Either that or got their fill of Ball State football. Could have been the Bucks too. Or they could be leaving early to celebrate a victory, although there's plenty of time remaining, and it would take more than a miracle, I think, to get the Cardinals to win this football game. Henley back in, going for his 3rd touchdown of the night. It's down to the 2. Maybe one more time for June on this series.
You know, the depth that the Jayhawks have at the offensive line, I believe is really going to benefit with them towards later on in the year. Plus the size that they have, they really don't lose too much when they replace somebody, because all them guys down there are big. They look big from up here.
They look big on the screen too, I can tell you that much. 2nd and goal. Football on the 1, over the top. Touchdown, Kansas. June Henley is just tied for the career mark in touchdown runs.
That is a sweet way to do it.
Henley, his 28th career touchdown, up over the top. Looks like one of the first ones he did as a freshman here at KU. His 3rd touchdown of the night. Kansas now 34-3. Putting a flat tire on Ball State. One more time for the Henley touchdown dive. And what you saw right there was Jonathan Macklin, number 44, standing up his man. And Henley takes it over the top. (35-3). Jeff McCord's kickoff goes out of bounds. 31-yard drive in 7 plays. One of those was a passing play. Ball gets spotted at the 35-yard line on the errant kickoff by Jeff.
The coaches have to be pleased. You have Ben Roots come in, and he directs 2 scoring drives, so, you know, they can't really ask for much more from him, and I think that's what they were planning on him coming in and doing, and it's working out good right now.
I don't know if they were planning on June Henley for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. That matches his career high in one single game as Michael Blair carries it across. Matt Nicely, 6'2 senior, goes at 203 pounds, is the new quarterback, number 12 for Ball State. Nice job plugging up the hole that time by Kansas. Not too sure if that was Tyrus Fontenot that was in there. Is that right?
Yeah, he came in and filled the hole, made the good tackle. The Kansas defense is still being stingy, though, being up 35 to 3.
Absolutely, good point. Handoff, tailback, that's Leandra Moore. Moore has run well straight ahead. He's picked up his 3-4 yards a pop.
Another thing you can say about the defense is I know a lot of defensive coordinators talk about their defensive squad bending but don't break, and you know, they bent a little bit tonight, and Ball State drove in and got good field position, but they haven't really broke. They've only gave up the 3 points, which came off the fumble. So I'm sure Coach Hankiewicz is pleased with the way they performed, and especially the way they still are performing right now.
Yeah, a lot of times you know, they say they bend but don't break it. They've stood there and not even bent. And then you mentioned a good point earlier, Charlie. That's it. The depth that this defensive unit will get. The lines, both lines show good depth. Offensively and defensively. Oh, in and out of the hands of Steve Bratton. Bratton had 6 perhaps on that one.
He had nobody in front of him.
Nice pass if Bratton was the intended receiver, and it's one of those you say, Coach, it really didn't happen. Don't hold that against me in the film room.
Yeah, but that film's going to show it again and again.
Hope somebody left it turned off.
And they're going to say, this is what we need to come up with the next time.
Brad Maynard on again, and time has been called for some reason there. The clock did not start. Isaac Bird, a touchdown catch for him tonight. Fielded a punt and took one right in the face. That's the play clock, and that was at 11 when the official called a timeout. It may not have been reset, but we do have a timeout on the field. Comes at 11:08 to play here in the football game. Kansas 35, Ball State 3. (35-3) Kansas. Maynard to punt, and he nails the beauty. Bird lets it hit. It hits just barely in the end zone and comes back out.
Thought we were going to have a replay of that first one.
One thing at Ball State has been fun to watch tonight is the punting of Brad Maynard. He is just boom some beauties. How about Ball State tonight? 8 punts, 2 fumbles, and 1 field goal. That's what you like to see if you're an offensive coordinator, right?
No, I don't think that's really don't think that's what they came in here to do, and they'll go back and regroup and figure out what they did wrong and play the next game.
Let's give Coach Mason and his staffs a lot of credit. They had them ready here to come out in this game. This Henley again. June carries out to the 25, another 5-yard pickup for him.
I think Kansas came out like everybody was expecting them to do. you knew they were going to have a good running game this year with their line and the backs that they have, and I think they came out tonight, established that, and then mixed some passes in it.
Ben Roots back in again. Still in, I should say, at quarterback. Henley could hit it. He snaps a run off here. He could hit a career high for that. But Eric Van now checks in. Still 10 minutes, 20 seconds to play in this football game. Van ahead for one. How many carries has Kansas not gained positive yardage, Charlie? You can count it on one hand. I think it's 3, maybe 4 times maximum. Excluding, I think we had a sack of Matt Johnner, but as far as a rushing play with these two tailbacks, actually 3 if you count Galbraith.
Oh,
I believe they've had like 3 negative carries.
You also got to give credit to, again, the offensive line. And plus, you know, your backs, they're going to fight for the extra yard, and it's going to be hard to stop them for a loss of a yard or something.
Well, one of our statisticians, Mike Zimmerman, says 3 with the exception of Johnner. Eric Van that time maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. But it'll be a punting situation. Van did get back to the line of scrimmage with no gain.
Jude Henley has scored 28 touchdowns this year.
Well, Henley most likely will become, the announcement comes up here, Henley most likely will become the all-time career leader in touchdowns. He has tied Tony Sands tonight. Fair catch at the 40-yard line made by Tim Giesman. So with under 9 minutes left to play, Ball State will try to put some points back on the scoreboard. They have 3, but still trail Kansas 35-3. So for the Cardinals, they'll be against Miami of Ohio next Saturday. And then they have a big game in Minnesota. And my understanding is that is a big game between these two schools. It would seem like there'd be as mismatched as this one.
Yeah, but anytime you have a rival or something like that, it's just like when Kansas State come together. It's hard to really tell what's going to happen. And
out of the pocket goes nicely. He's trying to outrun the blue shirts. Little hand to help him out of bounds by a Kansas linebacker.
As a smart play by, I believe, J.J. Johnson, to pull off right there. He could have easily hit him and drew a flag and gave him 15 yards, but he backed off and
put the hand on his shoulder and helped him out. And June Henley now has climbed up the charts, become the 3rd leading rusher in KU history. Still has a ways to go. Hand off to Mike Pickett.
And you're still seeing many blue jerseys around the pile. It's just, I know that's what the KU defensive coaches have stressed. That I know one of the things was at the end of each frame on the film or something, you wanted to be in the picture, and that's what they stress. And it's just hustling to the ball in pursuit, like you said earlier.
Well, Kansas has been all over this field, defensively as well as offensively. Hawks with close to 500 yards of total offense. The timing pattern, nice grab at the 37-yard line. Ed Abernathy on the catch. It's the second play that's worked exactly like that for the Ball State offense.
That was a good throw, too.
Nicely from the shotgun. Good second block there as nicely just lobs it up, and Abernathy ran under it. There's not much you can do about that as a defensive back.
No, it's a good throw and a good catch.
Clock right at 8 minutes. Still Kansas leads it by 32 points. Inside handoff on the carry for Ball State goes Justin Bivens. Well, it's like pin drop time here in Memorial Stadium. It's awfully quiet. Second down and 6 to go for the Cardinals. Nicely from the shotgun again. And again, it goes to Abernathy, who's bumped out of bounds at the 25. I wonder how many people here, Charlie, are saying, hey, play it down the center of the field, guys. Let's get this thing over with. This bug-infested game over with. I know
There's a lot of...
There's 5 of us up here saying, let's do it.
There's a lot of people already cleared out. These bugs aren't clearing out, though.
Too little, too late.
Ball State's putting up a little bit of drive here late.
Kansas shifting around defensively. And again, nicely looks to Abernathy. He may have come in from out of bounds to make that catch, but it's complete at the 20. And again, it stops the clock.
I believe you were right. I think he did come in out.
Well, you might see it on the replay there. To speed it up a little bit, we got a play getting ready to take off, but see if he did. No, you can't tell there. From our vantage point, it looked like he stepped down and came back in on the pivot move. There's a little delay and a hit for a couple yards, number 35. That's James Terrell.
Well, this is one of them situations I was talking about where the defense is bends, but we'll see if we can hold them out. And
there'll be 2 more downs anyway for Ball State. I don't think they would settle for another 3 up here. And Kansas with a couple of off weeks in its schedule this season. One coming next week. And the Jayhawks will have a chance to watch somebody else play. You know, there were a few eyes on Kansas here tonight in Memorial Stadium. Nicely hit as he let go. Abernathy, little hitch and go, and didn't go on that one as Blevins was back on the coverage for Kansas.
I believe that was Ron Warner that came in and put a lot of pressure on him right there and made him hurry the throw just a little bit. I think made him rush it more than he wanted to right there. It's good to see they're still hustling out there, and they don't want Ball State to get in there and score. So
a nice shot of the parking lot for you folks. People taking off early, beating the traffic, but the jam will be out there now. Nicely on fourth and 3, and it goes incomplete. Jason Thorne was in there on the pressure. And nicely didn't have a chance to crank it up. Now the Kansas offensive unit, I would imagine, with a few new faces back out on the field. Now, if you can sum up this game, in my opinion, both teams started out tentatively, but once Kansas got things rolling, once they got on track, it just came out and they played the kind of football that I think we'll be seeing from the Jayhawks this year.
I think they came out. You know, they've been beating up each other for a while and just wanted to get a little anxious, little excitement. But like you said, once they settled down, they seemed to do the game plan and execute like we're supposed to, and eventually take over, I believe.
Jonathan Macklin on that last carry. The 3-yard pickup for him. New quarterback in for Kansas, Hamilton. And he pitches it to Eric Van, who might have actually lost a yard on that.
And another thing, I think Kansas came in and established what they wanted to. You know, the 2 quarterbacks came in. They played pretty solid. They didn't really no forced mistakes, no errors or anything that were really noticeable. They both went on a scoring drive, and I think that's what they were looking for.
Called him Hamilton. His name's Hamilton Hill, number 17. He's a sophomore out of Wichita. 6'2", 200-pounder. Oh, he fires it out. That one's picked up, though, and that may be 6. And it will be for Ball State. So the sophomore comes in. His first pass goes for an INT. And 6 points for the opposition as Carl Moore, number 13, picked it off. And you know that's not the way young Mr. Hill wanted to start his college season.
It's just a
career there.
It's just a long throw where he was trying to get it to, and you'd have to really fire that ball to get it complete right there, and it's just a dangerous place to be throwing it. And
the intended receiver was Chandler for Kansas. Locklear now will try to make it a 25-point Kansas lead. And he nails it through. So with 5 minutes exactly left to play, it's Kansas 35, Ball State 10. And the 7 points given up by the KU offensive unit. On the interception return of 31 yards for a score. We'll be back with more KU football on this Thursday night special right after these words. (35-10), the Bugs are taking over Memorial Stadium. As Kansas will get it back on offense. Van from the goal line. Eric Van has a crease, bouncing to the outside across the 30 and down at the 33-yard line.
Nice little return right there. Anytime you can get through that first wedge and then cut it outside, then you see the blocking right here where they give a good little hole right up the middle, and then Eric Van just does what he does and busts outside and picks up a bunch.
Hamilton Hill back in the game at quarterback. I think Mr. Hill maybe just hand these footballs off. Does to Eric Van, and Van dances for 3 across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
But pick up like that on first down, I don't see why, or no reason why they shouldn't be handing it off more. Keep the clock running and get out with no injuries and take the win and go on.
Well, we talked about the running of June Henley tonight and the 3 touchdowns, tying him for the career rushing or career touchdown mark. Not just on the ground, the career touchdown mark puts him at the top with Tony Sands. Glenn Mason in his 9th season, that ties him with Jack Mitchell for the longest tenure at KU. And he's coached in more games than any other head coach in school history. And he also, with a win tonight, or a coaching win tonight, he with a win actually tied Jack Mitchell for 2nd all-time in career wins. So congratulations to Coach Mason. And look at Hill scoot. He wants to make up for that INT, and he turned on that run.
He turned on some wheels.
Woo! He did get going.
He has a little jets in there.
Running down Kellogg Boulevard down there in Wichita.
That's a nice little fake, though. It drew the linebackers in and the defensive end. And then he just got going.
Nice strides for the young quarterback. Puts Kansas down at the 37-yard line of Ball State. 3:38 to play. And he got the Hawks a first down. Van toward the short side of the field, and there it keeps it between the hash marks. A flag is thrown, which will stop the clock anyway. Here's Van. Good lead blockers out in front. That's Macklin, number 44, leading the way at the fullback position. Had some help from Sean Vang, number 72. And now come back. It'll nullify that run as a holding penalty is called against the Kansas Jayhawks. The Hawks have had their share of penalties tonight, 8 times 53 yards. A lot of those coming in the first half where I guess you might say you would expect to see them. Kansas really cranking out the first downs, 27 on the night.
First and 17.
And the Hawks, I do believe, are well over 500 yards of total offense.
Nice little move.
And Hill tucks it in and is pulled down at the 35-yard line. It looks as though there's another flag down, though, at the 32. So
That looked like the play just a couple before that where he had the long run.
ooh, he did. Nice little dance move there to get loose. But again, another flag is downfield. And the official will tell us it's another hold against Kansas. And you know the coaches do not like to see that happen back to back.
He also, Kansas has a lot of young players in there right now, and some of them probably playing in their first collegiate game, and stuff like that's going to happen when you first get in there. You're going to do things that you used to do that you can't do here, and vice versa.
But here you're going to get caught. Little draw. It looks like Eric Van, and Van gets a couple of the yardage back. So it'll be a second down and 16. Another reminder that high school football returns to Sunflower Cablevision Channel 6 next Friday night as Olathe North and Lawrence High School tee it up to kick off the Sunflower League season. That'll be at Haskell Stadium. Join us next Friday night at 10:30, and then again the following Saturday morning right here on Channel 6. Clock rolling now, 2:20, as they'll try to mercifully end this one. That's Macklin, and he carries down to the 38-yard line. By the way, it was second and 15 for Kansas.
I think Kansas tonight's going to get out of here with a good victory, and I don't recall too many injuries towards the Jayhawks tonight. Seems like it's been a pretty
I don't believe the
easy
Hawks had
game,
any.
and maybe they get out of here and
Take a couple of weeks off to fine-tune some things before heading down to TCU land. And we saw some good receivers for Kansas tonight and a couple of good-looking quarterbacks. Johnner, I think, opened a few eyes for some people. Maybe not realizing he was as good as he was. That play didn't work. That was like a Statue of Liberty job, wasn't it?
I think a lot of people may have questioned Johnner, but they
underestimated
yeah,
him.
they knew in camp that he was a good quarterback and could fill in for Ben, or maybe he established something for himself. Maybe it'd be time to tell who will get the nod, and I think they both look good tonight.
They did. Well, it's fourth down now for Kansas. And it'll go over to Ball State. On the carry that time was Paul Davis, a redshirt freshman. So the Cardinal offensive unit, which has been held in pretty much in check tonight, comes back out on the field for the final 46 seconds. Which, quite honestly, won't come soon enough for a lot of people up here among the lights, folks. We've been overtaken by bugs.
Well, some of them I think are birds.
They're big enough to be bats. We're going to get carried off here in a minute. Kansas, 480 plus yards of total offense, maybe even 500 tonight. It was a good display by the offensive unit, and really a big third quarter that turned it on for Kansas. June Henley, 3 touchdown runs on the night. Quarterbacks with a couple of passing touchdowns. Johnner completed 2, and Ben Roots rifled one in. So Kansas 35 points to open the season.
I think they were really well balanced tonight, and you know, that's what you look for, and you especially want to show that to other teams. And
yeah,
just lost some
lost
lights.
a bank of lights with 35 seconds left to play. And if that must be some type of
somebody forgot to pay the bill.
had him until 10 o'clock, and we got an extra 5 minutes out of 10 minutes out of him.
Or one of them bugs just hit it.
Well, Kansas has averaged more than 26 points a game in 4 of the past 5 seasons. We scored, that's up to our left. And the Jayhawks will take the final. There. Yeah, you can see the bugs. I think they must have heard us. They're sparing us on the bugs. The Hawks haven't lost a season opener since 1990. That was against Virginia right here. And that was a good Virginia team. A couple of those guys went pro. Do you remember that one there?
Yeah.
Charlie's shaking his head. Yeah, I remember that one.
Vaguely. It was a long time ago.
Kansas with 35 points. Ball State with 10. Still 34 seconds left. Good display by Kansas tonight. And we'll hold this one back. They didn't even throw a flag on that. Yeah, we did. No whistle, still a loose football. Now Kansas jumped a mile off sides. Now flag is gone. The clock, meanwhile, dribbles down to 21 seconds, but we'll sort all this thing out because Kansas flew off sides by about 9 miles before the fumble, and then
nobody went to recover.
Kick, and then another fumble. I got another call right tonight. Now Glenn Mason will win his 44th game as head coach against 47 losses and 1 tie, and he will only have 1 tie on his record because that's a new rule this year. There will no longer be ties in college football.
I believe they put it on the 25-yard line.
25-yard line, and they get their chance to score points, and then you alternate until somebody ends up with more points. It's been in the high school ranks for years.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Except the difference is, I believe in high school, you don't see it very often. I want to say it's the 10-yard line. I think I've only experienced one of those, and that was back in the days you played there. Nicely airs it out, and that could be a pick. Oh, incomplete. Stops the clock with 2 seconds left to play. Manolito Jones, the unintended receiver of that pass. Well, the battle of the Kansas quarterbacks, if you're trying to figure them out, if you have a favorite. Matt Johnner, a lot of offense, 14 of 20, 146 yards, and a touchdown. Ben Roots came in, connected on his last 3 passes after incompletions on his first 3. Finished 3 for 6, 46 yards, and he also threw for a touchdown. But I think the big story here tonight was June Henley, 187 yards, 3 scores to start off the 96 season for the Kansas Jayhawks. Final play of the game, barring a flag, and that pass is complete. And it'll
Takes
be
it
down
away.
inside the 28-yard line. It finished the way it started with a hard hit by the Kansas defense. For everyone involved with this football game, and it's been a good one as far as the Jayhawks are concerned. And for Charlie Bowen, this is Jim Bracciano saying thank you all for being with us. And thanks to our sponsors. We'll see you again in over a month here from Memorial Stadium. Reminder once again, check us out next Friday night as Lawrence High School opens the 96 campaign against Olathe North. If you can, get out to Haskell Stadium. If not, tune us in at 10:30 next Friday night. For all of us again, your final score, Kansas 35, Ball State 10. Have a good night.